lines 18 through 21. I'll read it to you. And you're sitting down, and there ain't no way to get out. So I'm stretched out, trying to get away. My left arm is out in front of me. I'm either saying no, 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 or whoa, whoa, whoa. Suddenly, my head was to the right, so he hit me with something. I assume it was his fist. With his fist or something. I think he had his cell phone in his hand. I saw the blur of the screen.
Yes, sir.
That's my point, Your Honor. That is the correct one. He is trying to impeach him on something.
Your Honor, I would object to the speaking objection.
Sustained. I mean, overruled on yours and sustained as the speaking objections. You can approach, but you don't need to right now.
The picture that you have painted for Detective Proctor, and again, this statement is in evidence. The members of the jury can listen to themselves, okay? You indicate that when he jumped, the popcorn went by the wayside immediately. After that, you're explaining that Chad Olson is virtually on top of you. You're leaning back. You have your hand out yelling, whoa, whoa, whoa. And it's at that time you're struck. That's what this statement says, correct?
Let me think about the time frame here for a minute. The first time I was hit was preceding anything else. This time this is what I mentioned earlier about jumping around. I know what this says, but I also know when I was hit. I don't have an explanation.
Okay, so you don't have an explanation as to why your statement to Detective Proctor on the day of the shooting is so different than today.
I think that I was excited. I was scared. I think that once you have adrenaline going in your system, I may have confused one item with another. This happened over a period of seconds. I mean, virtually seconds, and in my mind, much quicker than that.
Okay. Would you agree with me that the powers of observation fade over time?
I would agree that, yes, that would normally be the case.
Okay. In fact, the phrase that I just used, the powers of observation would fade over time, is the phrase you yourself used in this statement with Detective Proctor.
Okay.
Would you agree with me?
I would agree with that. That's factual.
So we're 8 years past the time of the shooting, correct?
Yes, correct.
And if the powers of observation fade over time, it's kind of interesting that today you have added a quote-unquote second attack. Now, the reason, and I'm asking you this, wouldn't be the reason that you added a second attack is you're trying to justify this shooting by making an attack appear to have occurred 8 seconds prior, when in your statement to Detective Proctor, it occurred after the popcorn had fallen on the ground.
I never put the two together. He only hit me one time, and then he was reaching for me the other time, just like when he was shot. He was reaching for me.
I understand. And the jurors have the post-Miranda statement, and they listen to your testimony.
Right.
Okay. And the stories on their post-Miranda statement and today are very different.
We're dealing in microseconds today, and I was dealing with stress then.
Okay. Well, 8 seconds isn't microseconds.
I don't know anything about 8 seconds.
We'll get there in a little bit.
Okay.
Now, you indicated that while your left hand was out, because Mr. Olson is virtually on top of you, you believe you were touching his shoulders or his chest because he was virtually in your lap. Do you remember saying he was virtually in your lap?
I do.
Okay, and that's why you're touching him, because the picture you're painting for Detective Proctor is he's on top of you. And you indicated in your statement to Detective Proctor that you were surprised you didn't shoot your own left hand, correct?
I was, yes,
Okay,
sir.
that's because it was out in front of the gun, correct?
That was my perception, yes, sir.
Okay, now you'd agree with me that had your hand truly, really been in front of the gun, there'd be stippling all over your left hand.
The gun was in a, I think you guys call it index shooting position. It would have been very close to my body. It would not have been extended. It would be pretty close to my right hip.
Okay, you're the one that said you're surprised you didn't shoot your left hand, right?
Yes.
I didn't make that up. You said yourself you're surprised you didn't shoot your left hand.
That's correct.
Okay, because the gun was in a position where the bullet would come out and shoot your hand. So your hand had to actually be in front of the muzzle. That's the only way you could be afraid you'd shoot yourself.
Your illustration of having your hand straight out in front of you is not what my thought was. My thought was it was down by my hip, and my gun was down by my hip. So All this sticking your hand straight out in front of you had never crossed my mind.
Okay, but in your statement, you're saying that you have your left arm out and you're surprised that you didn't shoot yourself.
Okay.
I mean, there's no way around that.
Perceptual distortion.
Okay. Or is it you're trying to justify a shooting that's not lawful?
That would be a fabrication
Correct.
for you.
Now, based on just Detective Proctor's statement, you indicated to Detective Proctor that you were hit on the left side of your face, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, today here in court, you said it was over your left eye, correct?
That's the left side of my face, yes, sir.
Okay, well, wouldn't you agree with me there's a difference between over your left eye and the left side of your face?
I think they're both located in the same place.
Okay, and I really don't mean that. I'm truly not being sarcastic, okay? Over your left eye is over your left eye. This is the side of your face. You can't be telling this jury that over your left eye and the left side of your face is the same exact position, are you?
I never thought about a distinction between what you just illustrated. The left side of your face is the left side of your face, or your left eye is the left side of your face. I never differentiated between the two.
So there's no difference between the front of your face and the side of your face to you?
When you illustrate it, there would seem to be. My statement was completely different. I didn't see a difference.
And you're indicating in this statement, and again, we're still just talking about Detective Proctor's statement, that you were hit so hard that you were dazed.
I think dazed, surprised, shocked, all those things would fit that, yes, sir.
Okay, and you yourself said in a tape statement that you bruise easily.
On my arms and my, yes, sir.
Okay, and you heard Jennifer and Matt testify you bruise easily, correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
All right, so here's what you're testifying to. You're testifying that there's I think it came out as 6'4", Chad Olson, who's full of rage, is virtually on top of you, and he punches you or hits you hard with a cell phone, so much so that you're dazed, yet you easily bruise and there's not a single mark on your face. That's what you want this jury to believe.
Yes, I do.
Not a single swelling, not a single red mark other than your left eye lid has a little bit of redness on it. That's the extent of the injuries a 6'4" person put on you when they hit you hard enough to daze you, correct?
And knock my glasses off, yes, sir. Or, I'm sorry, askew would be the right word.
And you remember listening to your own witness, Dr. Adams from the medical examiner's office, who talked about all these bony parts and their skin, and the skin's so thin on the side of the face, and you'd expect all these traumas, yet there's not a single mark on you from being punched.
I disagree with the single mark comment.
And everything that we just described isn't even visible on the video, is it?
It was a perception on my part. I was scared. This guy was completely out of control. Didn't seem to be acting rational. I was so scared until I was not sure exactly where he was, but I knew he was attacking me.
Okay. So your perception was an attack that never occurred.
That would be a misstatement to say it never occurred.
Okay. Well, the video's an evidence. The members of the jury could review the video. And you would believe that you were in a life or death struggle prior to the shooting?
Yes, sir.